What is up, guys? Binku49 here. We are back to Creative Question of the Week. Yes, it's Monday again. Yes, it's time to have our weekly chat. And yes, we're playing an old school game, okay? I'm having a lot of fun with these old school DOS games. Last video, or maybe it was a video previously, I talked about the game SimAnt, because I was talking about ants for some reason. Who knows why I talk about any of the things I talk about. But I was talking about SimAnt and how much I knew about ants because of this game. So I thought, you know what? Let's play this game for you guys. Basically, the theme of this game is it's red ants versus black ants, and you're a black ant, and the idea is for you to take over the yard and eventually take over the house. Okay, and the thing that's going to try to stop you is the red ant. So we're just going to play a little bit of SimAnt today while we talk about what we're going to talk about. And I want to just, before that, say thank you guys for all the interaction on the channel. I know we're not getting a lot of viewers or a lot of people to this channel, so it's very important that you guys participate, those of you who are here. And I really do appreciate all the work that you guys do. Not that it's actual work. What do you got to do? Speak your mind and then ask a question. It's not work. I don't know why I said work, but you know, it is. I understand that it is more than other YouTube videos ask of you, right? So I do appreciate you interacting, especially those of you who really go all the way, the whole 9 yards of expressing yourself like IGL Zenix. Thank you for that discussion that we had, IGL, and everyone really who engaged in discussions. I love it. I just love it. I just love sharing ideas, whether you agree, whether you disagree, or whatnot. And we're going to have a lot of that today because we're going to be talking about something that a lot of you may not know about. So let's get into the questions first. And I chose 2 questions because they kind of fell in the same vein. And the first question was from HDMI Cable, and he asked, do you think humans are harming the planet? Also, how do you think humans will go extinct? Thank you, HDMI Cable, for that question. And the other question was from Funtime Springs Traps, and he says, hey, Bean, what's your stance on the apparent statement by Trump about nuking hurricanes? I really want to hear your thoughts on this supposed statement made by him. Do you think it's a fact or fiction? All right, guys, thank you for that or those questions. And today I want to talk about geoengineering. Ooh, the first thing I want to say is that I'm going to need you guys to have an open mind. You have to realize, and this is something that's taken me 30 plus years to realize. So I don't expect you guys to understand this at this point now, but you have to realize that there is so much that you don't know. There is so much information that you have no idea exists. You don't even know that you don't know it, right? And so, you know, that's what, you know, improving yourself as a human being is. It's discovering what you don't know. Does that make sense? Like, the part of this journey is discovering what you don't know. And so it's very important to keep an open mind. Realize that anything is possible. Literally, anything is possible. And the version of reality that we're fed is false. It's fake. It's a veneer. Right? We're intentionally being misled, misinformed, so that people who are doing nefarious things can get away with doing nefarious things. And that brings us to geoengineering, okay? And geoengineering is the idea that we can control the weather. Human beings can control the weather. That's geoengineering. And on some level, geoengineering has been going on for a long, long time. And one of the things that I learned along my journey, one of the things that I didn't know that I didn't know, are you still with me? One of the things I didn't know that I didn't know was that the government, or those who are controlling the government, have access to technology that we don't even know exists. And this is a fact, okay? This is a fact that the government does not... I mean, let's not say the government, because I'm sure it is the government, but there's powers greater than governments, okay? And those people are not going to share their technology with us. Let's imagine that you're controlling the world, that you have the most power on the planet, right? Would you want to give your little minions who serve you, who pay taxes to you, would you want to give them all the technology that exists? Or are you going to keep some of it for yourself so that you can control and manipulate your servants without them even knowing it? Think about that. Just think about if you had that kind of power. maybe you're a good person. You'd say, oh, free technology for all. But what if you wanted to be... Listen, guys, if you're in a position of power, your main goal is to keep that power, no matter what. And so those in power will go through extreme lengths to maintain that power to the point of not releasing technology to the public. Advanced technology, geoengineering technology. And I say this for a fact. It's been proven. I mean, if you want to look into it, look at Operation... Was it called Operation Popeye? Operation Popeye. During the Vietnam War, the United States, through the CIA, were seeding clouds so that the monsoon season would last longer along the Ho Chi Minh Trail. So that the Viet Cong would be submerged in water, basically. And you can look this up. This has been... I don't know if it's been declassified, but it's been released. Look up Operation Popeye. And this is in the 70s. This is in the 60s, actually, the late 60s. So, I mean, if you want to go back 40-something years? No, that's way more than 40. What am I talking about? The late 60s? We're talking about 50 to 60-something years here. They could make it monsoon, okay? So, you can only imagine what kind of technology we have now. How far it's probably advanced in those 60 whatever years. I'm not good at math. What year is it now even? I don't even know. So as far as Donald Trump and nuking hurricanes, I have no idea what he said. I don't pay attention to anything Donald Trump or any politician says for that matter. So I don't know what he says or what he meant. But I absolutely believe that the government has the technology to manipulate hurricanes. I believe it. I'm not asking you to believe it. But based on what I've understood and what I know and what I'm starting to learn, it's absolutely within the realm of possibility. It actually, in my opinion, is in the realm of probability that they can control such things as hurricanes. I mean, if they can control monsoons 60 years ago, why couldn't you control a hurricane? Very simple. As far as using nukes, I have no idea. I mean, that sounds like a horrible idea. Did he really say nuke? I don't know if that's what he meant or he was using like nuke as in like a microwave, right? Anyway, so it's absolutely possible that the government has this technology. Absolutely probable in my opinion. I don't ask you to believe this. I'm just asking you guys to expand your mind and expand your consciousness and just ask the questions, right? And so what else are these governments doing? Well, they're releasing chemtrails all over the planet. And, here we go. You're like, oh, here goes the conspiracy theories. Listen to me, guys. All you have to do is look up. That's all the evidence you could ever possibly need. Look up at the sky, okay? And look at the planes crisscrossing the sky with chemtrails. There's a difference, though, between chemtrails and contrails. And it's very important that you understand this concept. A contrail is like exhaust from an airplane. And this is like a white puff of cloud that follows an airplane. And basically is water vapor, I believe. And it kind of dissipates within a minute, right? So it sort of stays behind the plane, but you don't see it anymore. A chemtrail is the same thing. It's a white trail behind the plane, but it stays there for hours. Right? That means they're spraying something. So without a shadow of a doubt, this is fact, there are a lot of planes in the sky over your house spraying something. Now, I don't pretend to know what it is. I have a good idea. I don't know for sure. But I believe it's geoengineering. It's weather modification. But it's also possibly toxic. And it's keeping us in a lower state of health. So again, I don't want to say this for a fact because I don't know what exactly they're spraying. But I think we can... Listen, guys, there's so much to gain by keeping us in a low state of health. Like I said, those in the positions of power want to keep their power. If we're strong, if we're healthy, if we're able to rise to our full potential, then it's easier for them to lose control of us. So it's well within the realm of possibility that these chemtrails are spraying metallic. Honestly, that's what I believe that they're doing. Again, I don't know. But I think they're spraying toxic metals into the atmosphere, which keeps us kind of in a lower state of vibration. It promotes cancer. I mean, all sorts of things. right? If you have cancer, you're not going to be standing up for yourself, fighting back against your oppressors. You're going to be in the hospital, spending all of your money just trying to survive. And so that's sort of, it's possibly an objective of those who are spraying these chemicals. And you're saying, oh, this is all conspiracy theory, mumbo jumbo. That's exactly what they want you to say. They want you to discount it. Because if you discount it, then you just say, oh, it's just part of life. I don't know what that is. It's just a white thing in the sky, whatever. What's for breakfast, right? But if you ask questions, now you're opening Pandora's box, okay? And so they don't want you to open Pandora's box. They want you to go back to your breakfast. So what they'll do, this is the royal they, what they'll do is they'll invent terms like conspiracy theorist. That term, the term conspiracy theorist, was created by the CIA. They created that term. And they created that term to discount anyone who's asking too many questions. Right? What do you think when you hear the term conspiracy theorist? You think of a wacko, a nut job, someone who's crazy, someone who wears a tinfoil hat. That is exactly why they created that word and why they created that stigma around it, so that you would discount it, so you wouldn't think for yourself. So you would just say, oh, that guy's a wacko. Anything he's saying is probably crazy. Let's ignore him. And so they'll label anyone who's getting too close to the truth as a conspiracy theorist. And because it fits within their agenda to maintain power and control. So whenever you hear that word, that should be like a red flag to you. If someone in a position of power says conspiracy theory or conspiracy theorist, then that should be like sending all sorts of signals, say something's not right here. There's an objective, and what is that objective? I'm not saying everyone who's ever come up with a conspiracy theory is right. Absolutely not. The world is not flat. Well, the world could be flat. This is a hologram, but that's a whole nother video. In this 3D world, the Earth is round, okay? So not all conspiracy theories are correct, and some people are wackos, nut jobs, and they just believe things for no reason. And again, I don't want to give you the impression that I know what the government's doing, or those higher up in the government. I don't want to give you the idea that I know what they're doing exactly, but it's very interesting to think about. If you follow the money, if you follow the power and the control, it makes a lot of sense to keep us in a state of poor health. It makes a lot of sense. You've all seen chemtrails. You've all seen them. They're always spraying almost 24 hours a day. They'll take some breaks sometimes, and you might not see them for a few days, and then you'll see like 5 of them crisscrossing across the sky. It's crazy. And it also depends on where you live. I live near a major city, which is where the spraying will intensify, and they'll do more spraying over cities. So maybe if you live out in the rural areas, it might not be as prevalent or as noticeable, but it's still there. They're still doing it, and so it's I don't know, guys. It's very scary to think about, and you know that they're also possibly controlling the weather as well, and you know, if they can create a monsoon, they can create a hurricane potentially. Why wouldn't that be within the realm of possibility? I don't see why not. So it's very interesting to think about. It's also very scary, but it's also very uplifting, because the more you know, the more you can stand up to it, the more you can fight back. But you can't fight back if you're just going to dismiss it. So again, I just want to say this for the 5th time. I'm not telling you what to think. I'm not telling you what to believe. I'm telling you to ask some questions. The other question was, what do I think we're harming the planet, and how will humanity become extinct? Was that the question? Obviously, we're harming the planet. I mean, that goes without saying. Is it to the degree that's climate scientists are saying? Absolutely not. The idea that human beings are causing climate change is absurd. That I will go on record as saying. That I know is deception for a fact. I know that's a deception, and I know that's because all you have to do is look at who does that benefit, right? And it benefits politicians. And who's pushing this idea the most? politicians. So it's very obvious that humans aren't contributing to global warming in nearly the way that we're being led to believe. If you look at a volcano, one volcano will do like trillions of times more damage than what we've done in the 200 years since the Industrial Revolution. And that's a fact. So it's all relative, and it's all what perspective you wish to believe. But I think it's pretty clear without a shadow of a doubt how the human race is likely to go extinct. And it's not going to be from a meteor, because by the time that happens, we'll have the technology, and we probably already do. I would say that we already have the technology to divert any disaster such as a meteor strike. And it's not going to come from I don't know, how else could it come? Disease? We have such technology that no disease can harm us. If you don't think they have a cure for cancer, you need to think again. They're hiding technology from all of us. They can cure cancer very easily, but they would rather give us cancer, okay, for the reasons I stated before. So I think the human race will go extinct because of each other. I think we will cause ourselves to go extinct if it were to happen. Because look at what we're doing to ourselves. We fight in wars. We fight in wars that's, because of hatred. We hate each other because of our differences, so we try to kill each other. We develop biological weapons. We develop diseases. We're trying to control the weather to win wars. Look at Operation Popeye. I mean, we're doing all these negative things to each other. There's no other way for this to end other than for us to kill each other. I mean, look at nuclear weapons. We've come to the brink before. Look at the Cold War. We almost killed each other, and in the process, we would have destroyed the world, right? If Russia or the United States had launched nukes and then the other country responded, that would have brought a nuclear holocaust. And I don't know how much you know about the Cold War, but it was close. Okay, at least that's the version of reality that we were given, that it was close. Maybe it was all fabricated to make people fearful. I don't know for sure. And again, this goes back to our discussion last week. How much can we really believe history? Right? How do we know that Kennedy and who was it? Who was the Russian? I forget. But how do we know that they didn't have an agreement that we're gonna scare the living ish out of everybody and further our control through that means, right? Both countries came to a standstill during the Cold War, right? It was a crazy time. And so who does that benefit? Think about that. Ask that question. Who does that benefit? So again, how much can we really know from history? How much do we know is true? I don't know. I can't say for certain, but I can say that I don't know, right? And I can say that you don't know either. So where was I going with that thought? That was a good thought. Where was I going with it? Anyway, so I encourage you guys to be open-minded and ask questions. And the most important thing is to realize how much you don't know. I've said this before, I'll say it again. The true mark of wisdom is realizing how much you don't and can't know. That's the sign of wisdom. So a lot of you will take this stance in the comment section, and that's fine. That's your prerogative. That's what you believe in. You'll take this stance in the comment section where, I was told this by our governments, so you're wrong. Okay? And I just have to facepalm when I see things like that. It's just like you're spouting off the version of reality that has been fed to you by people who are looking to manipulate you. So if you're not going to question that, how can I listen to you? You know what I'm saying? If you're just going to spout off the version of reality that has been passed down from generation to generation in order to keep us in a state of constant war and fighting and separation, well, that's not a thought that I want to take with us into the future. That's not something I want to promote and help grow. Right? I'm here to ask questions. I'm here to find out the truth. And the only way you're going to find out the truth is to question everything. Right? If you question everything and something stands up to your intense questioning, then maybe it's true. Maybe you're finding out the truth. Right? And that's fine. If you want to question your reality and you come to find out that you believe still in your reality, that's great, as long as you questioned it, right? But if you're never going to question it, then you're just going to believe the version of reality that people feed you, that the school system fed you, that the media fed you, that your friends and family and coworkers and all these people have been brainwashed to believe. So, in summation, I just want to state for the 5th or 6th time that I don't know how they're controlling the weather. I don't know why they're controlling the weather. I have my ideas. You should have your ideas as well. But just know that they can. Just know that the technology exists. And just know that you have no idea of what technology exists in the realm of human consciousness, because it's being subverted from you. It's being held from you. It's being hidden from you so that you can be manipulated and controlled by it, right? And we can go on for hours talking about this, but we only have 20 minutes. We're reaching the end of the thing, so I want to thank you guys for listening. I know we didn't really get to any answers today, but that wasn't the idea. The idea was to raise questions, right? Let's raise some questions. And let's not nuke any hurricanes. If that's what Donald Trump is talking about, I think he's gone mad. We're not sending nukes to hurricanes. I should have done some research on that before starting this video, but the idea of looking up what Donald Trump has said, it was just like, nah, I'd rather not. So that's why I didn't. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for asking questions. I want to thank you guys sincerely for joining me on this series here. This has been a lot of fun. It's been eye-opening. The discussions have been great. I encourage you all to join in the discussion, even if you don't think you have something valid to say. At least state your point. At least state your viewpoint. And that feels good, right? Just to say, I'm standing up, I'm here, this is what I think, right? And I think that's a cool thing. I want to thank you guys for asking questions. We need questions to keep this thing rolling, so thank you. Don't be shy about the questions. It could be about anything at all. I don't want to, if you don't like what I've been talking about, it's your responsibility to ask a question that takes us in a different direction, okay? I only got a certain number of questions here, so I didn't have a lot of options this week, but the more options we have, the more we can branch out. So ask those questions, comment in the comment section, participate in the whole thing, and we'll keep this series rolling. So I want to thank you guys for watching. I want to ask you to leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Happy anting? Peace.